Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Airy Sky Realty's video blog. This is going to talk about the second stimulus update, and we're going to talk about the pandemic, or I call it the plague, and the economy. So, first up, second stimulus update. The second stimulus check is going to be interesting because, right now Mitch McConnell said he wants it to be $40,000 or under. And he said for the hardest hit working Americans in the hospitality fields, which means like hotels, restaurants, maid service, etc., whereas everyone else, he said hard working Americans. Now, that means he doesn't want to give any for the disabled people. There's a lot of people out there that's going to watch this on offline mode who's going to ask me specifically, or post negative, nasty comments like we deserve $2,000 a week, $2,000 a month. It's not going to happen. The accounting office said it costs about $14 to $20 trillion. We keep printing that much money for about 18 months while waiting for a cure. The country goes bankrupt. Someone's got to pay it back. So it ain't going to happen. The other ideas is that SSI, survivors, retirement, Social Security, disability insurance, railroad, and veterans aren't going to be in the equation because the Republicans think that 30% of the people in the country that got stimulus checks have spent it wisely, and 70% spent it foolishly. Therefore, they don't want anyone spending their extra money that they're giving us foolishly. While we're in a pandemic, we should be buying food and not going to agencies and so forth asking for handouts because we spent our money foolishly. And two is because they are seeing that warehouses and other places sold out. And yet people say, oh, the economy's rebound. The economy's going to tank. Literally, it's going to tank on the grounds that there's not enough supply and demand to get in there. And they're trying to bring in supply and demand, but China's blocking it. So you got a Chinese problem too. But the main problem is, now a lot of people say, well, what about our $1,200 under the HEROES Act? HEROES Act was passed. Republicans aren't going to debate it because they don't want to give $10,000 a person for hazard pay. B, they don't want to give anyone with mixed families, mixed meaning one's a citizen, the other's got a tax number, no social security number, like an illegal married to a citizen. They don't want to give their family money. So, again, three is they don't want to give $1,200 across the board. So, and fourth is the bill is almost like $4 trillion, and they're like, no, we're not paying $4 trillion for this. Not going to happen. And so, and that includes the unemployment. The unemployment alone, they say needs $1 trillion just to extend it till January. But they're trying to say it's a new norm. So if you end up with a virus and you die, well, it's a new norm. If you end up with a virus and survive, it's a new norm. Just deal with it. Go back to work. So all these ideas on the table, no one knows. Now, a lot of people say, oh, 40,000, I'm on disability, I'll get it. No, you won't. He said, Mitch McConnell and a few others said, including Steve Mnuchin the other day, said the hardworking Americans. He didn't say the hardworking, freeloading Americans on disability. He said hardworking Americans in the hospitality industry, quote unquote. That tells you right there, you guys aren't going to see a check right now. We got what is it? Today's the 11th? Yeah, so we have 9 days until they go back to work, okay? 9 days. There's going to be everyone clickbaiting you saying, I'm going to give you the skinny and tell you the truth, okay? Truth is this. The wording for a second stimulus is maybe. Now you're going to say, oh, yeah, we're going to get one. We're going to really. The HEROES Act was passed in April or May. Almost $4 trillion. The Republicans at first said $1 trillion. They want to pass $1 trillion stimulus. President Trump's cronies said $2 trillion. Now President Trump says $1 trillion. Here's the problem. Nancy Pelosi went on TV yesterday and said we need $1 trillion for hazard pay. That's 1.6 trillion. Actually, I looked up the numbers. $1 trillion to bail out all 50 states and the territories we man: Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Mariana Islands. And then another thing, again, over $1 trillion for $1,200 stimulus, including giving illegals. I'm sorry, but until the Democrats and Republicans work together, they're going to be at freaking loggerheads on this. They're going to be at loggerheads, plain and simple. And then you got the other problems, okay? Senator from Florida offered just $1,200 stimulus for mixed families. Again, that's for one that's married to a citizen who's born here to someone who isn't here, who's just got a green card. That's the way it's easy. That's not going to work. Another idea was tax credits for airlines. Airlines and travel. You spend $48,000 in 3 years for a married couple, you get 50 cents on the dollar. So they'll give you $24,000 back, or $4,000 a year, or $8,000 for a married couple. That's like what, $12,000 for 3 years? If you spend $24,000 in travel in 3 years, ain't gonna work. Another idea is food stamps. Just throw it all on a food stamp card. You get $1,200 that way. Everyone's bitching. Everyone's griping about food. Literally, they're griping about the food. They're like, oh, our food just been. The other reason the AARP is saying that if there is another stimulus, the old people need it. The old people don't need it because the old people's hoarding it. There's a lot of numbers out there that say the old farts, basically. Some of them bought new fly rods, others others frickin' did other things. And then there's, some hoarding it. Holding it up in a nest egg. Well, which is fine, but still. Problem is, we're in a pandemic, okay? A plague. And because of it, these ideas are dumb. Oh yeah, price of food's gone up, so we now gotta support the stimulus people for these. Yeah, well, they're talking about the hardest hitting Americans. The reason that the Republicans don't want to give a check to people on benefits is because they know that they're going to waste it. They're going to waste it if they give it and say this has to be spent, Now, another idea that came out was gift cards. Like special card that's only allocated to buy the necessities, like toilet paper and paper towels and stuff like that. That's a great idea. It's limited to certain products. That ain't going to happen. Thing is, everyone wants cash so they can go and blow it. I mean, literally. And they say, oh, well, the government owes me because I'm stuck behind a door in my apartment or house and I can't go out. And government doesn't owe you anything. You may pay taxes, but they don't owe you a thing. You're blaming the government for a virus that China created, sorry to say. And people nowadays need to realize that it isn't their fault. Okay, yeah, you're stuck indoors. Some states are doing what they can to help. Other states, look, you're going to see in the next 4 months the Republicans and Democrats duking it out for both House and Senate and the presidency because they want to win the voters by giving a stimulus. But where's the timeline? Well, let's see. They hammer out a bill, it might be signed, and they say checks might go out the first week of August. Won't happen. Let me put it this way. It took them 2 weeks to get the paper checks sent out, or direct deposit, the bank deposits to the first stimulus checks. And it took us from March 27th to April 29th for the first wave of Direct Express to hit. Direct Express, okay? That's over a month. So if you think you're going to get a rubber stamp a check in August, I guarantee you're going to probably be waiting till after September 11th when all the last checks go out, and then they'll start over. If they do it early, they're going to basically go ahead, and the timeline I'm forecasting is where they turn around and they take the money and they give it to everyone who's already been paid. And they do that either by Direct Express, direct deposit, or bank checks. And while they're filling out the last of the other stuff, they're going to slow down. The reason they're only doing $40,000 or under is because it's a broad targeting thing, and they're targeting a certain select few that will get a second stimulus. Now, other ideas, like I said, besides these tax credits, is there's $2,000 a month until the pandemic's over. To do that, you would be paying about 12 to 20 trillion dollars in over 18 months, or until a cure is happening. And that means you gotta get enough vaccines, which is about, if the U.S. comes up with a vaccine, you're gonna need at least 5 to 6 billion vaccines minimum, which means more time consuming, which means people won't get a vaccine right away, will have to wait, which means they got to still continue the extension of the uh, coronavirus COVID-19 benefits, for these people. Now, another idea is $1,000 dividends per month per person in the country. 340 million. That's about $5 trillion a year, or give or take by the numbers. Yeah, I do a lot of number crunching, by the way, as a hobby. So, $5 trillion. I mean, literally, we've already spent we've spent probably, 10 trillion just to get us out of the hole. And that's not including, these people saying, well, the economy's back, everything's going back to normal. No, it's what we call a facade, a ruse. You're basically seeing what you want to see by the media. The truth is if you look through the layers and layers, people are suffering. That does include people not paying their rent. There's a lot of people that aren't paying their rent, and because of it, they're losing their home when the moratorium ends for evictions because they're not paying. They got an option to make deals to catch up, but in the meantime, they don't have to, So, what's that tell you? It tells you right there that the second stimulus is in the air for anyone on SSI, SSDI, retirement survivors, and if anyone basically bellyaches that they're entitled to $2,000 a month because Canada and England and others are doing it, we have a population of 340 million friggin' people, and yet Canada has 40 million and England's got 66 million. You do the math. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to say it's about the population, I mean, literally, $2,000 a month, no, not gonna ever happen. $1,200 one-time payments, let's talk about that for a minute. People sit there and say, well, it's $1,200. Look, I'm gonna say something out of love for all of you that subscribe to me or are watching this short video today. $1,200 will get me supplies for a couple months, but $1,200 is not enough to survive. Now, the president said he's gonna give a bigger deal than $1,200, right? Here's what's going to happen then. The Republicans are going to offer, let's just say it's $2,400 per person, or $3,000, or even $5,000, right? Let's just say it's a big enough number for anyone under 40,000, right? Let's just say the government makes a deal, anyone under 40,000, we all get a check, right? People are like, oh, yeah, I get a check, right? Middle class and the rich are going to be friggin' belly aching. That's a good word, belly aching. About the fact that maybe they gave double the payment, $2,400 or $3,000 or even $5,000. Hell, they might even give $10,000 a person. No one knows, right? But the point is, Nancy Pelosi's not going to negotiate. She says we need to help the American people. We need $1 trillion for unemployment, $1 trillion for state and local help. And we need $1 trillion or more for stimulus checks and $1 trillion or more for the hazard pay. The Republicans already said it's dead on arrival. Okay, so Mitch McConnell's broadening it down. He's got an idea. Has anyone noticed that Mitch McConnell's wife got money in the hotel business? No wonder why he wants to help the hospitality market out, right? So, got the $1,200. If they gave $1,200 across the board for everyone, that's not even going to help people who's going to lose their homes, lose their cars, be evicted. That doesn't even help many people. One reason the Republicans want that HEROES Act dead is because it gives $10,000 to everyone who's working front lines, grocery store clerks, auto mechanics, and they think it's wrong. If you're going to give $10,000 to freaking one set of people that's working, You should give $10,000 to people not working, but no, it doesn't work that way. So they said the hell with it. Plus, they don't like the fact that in the bill, anyone who's not a citizen gets a check. They don't like that idea either. Americans first. I like that term. But honestly, since this is also a pandemic part, $1,200 is not going to go far. I'm sorry to say. I'd love for all of you. $1,200 is not going to go far. Now, if they do give $2,400 or $3,000 or $4,000, still it ain't going to be enough. Even if they offer $1,500 a person for anyone under $40,000, it's not enough. Not enough money. Sorry to say. I mean, I love America, okay? And yet I don't like how America is being treated. And yet, same time, we're seeing supply and demand go down. We're seeing the economy slowly tank. We're seeing the government make up lies about unemployment. That's the other thing. They're waiting for the unemployment numbers before they even think of another stimulus check. Numbers are good, no check. I mean, literally, if they have to do one, they want to basically select it for $1 trillion across the board. And that includes giving probably state help. But they're not even talking about state help. They're just saying stimulus, the economic impact payments. It's an election year, but problem is, if you give anyone under 40,000 makes 40,000, doesn't make a damn bit of difference anyways. I mean, literally, people these days need to realize that the second stimulus, we're 9 days to go, and then they got 15 days to hammer it out. I don't think they're going to hammer out something in 15 days. My own opinion, because they're not working together. Each party has their own ideas. One wants $4 trillion, they're not budging. One wants $1 trillion with the White House, same number, $1 trillion. Republicans want $1 trillion, they're not going to budge. In the end, who gets hurt? People that lose their homes, loses their car, loses their cell phones, their internet, everything else that they worked hard for, lost. They're going to go to the polls and say, we're voting both you people out of office, both you parties out. They have a right to, because they're dickering around about who gets what, when, where, and why. I mean, look, like I said, the Republicans has the numbers, all right? I've talked to several people I know in high enough official positions, state, quote, unquote, the American people. 30% spend it properly, 70% spend it foolishly, and game systems are sold out. They claim, oh, it's entertainment. This happened, that happened, whatever. TV sold out. I mean, I still can't find a TV that I want to get for my place, replace the one I have. And so I'm stuck with the same TV. But you know what? We're in a pandemic. Why waste money? People these days need to realize that, I mean, the government is afraid, okay? They're afraid because if they do one more stimulus, right, and the thing hits a double or whatever, yesterday's numbers were almost 72,000 people got infected. They're not following certain things. The president's not wearing a mask. They don't have to wear a mask. They're challenging states that say it's mandatory. It's against their rights. We're trying to prevent the spread of this virus. They don't care. Then they want to have a handout. So the problem is my advocates, who I love dearly, has said that who helps me out, as you all know, I live with a girl who's autistic, with possibly, autistic, Asperger's, and borderline, possibly bipolar too. I don't go out much. I have a treadmill. I do what I have to inside here, but it is really a hassle because my advocates say that the states are counties are pulling together money and resources to help with rent. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that get their $600 a week and they're wasting on booze, cigarettes, porn, and then they go and ask for the rent to be paid. And the advocates are getting fed up with it. And if they get another stimulus, they're just going to waste it again. I mean, literally, this is why the Republican Party doesn't want to give an extension of $600. They're making more money staying at home. Go back to work is what they say. If you get the virus, oh well. If you don't get the virus, oh well. Thing is this is big news. I mean, literally, look at the big news. I mean, the stimulus checks, we got 15 days when they go back to work. Do you think they'll hammer it out? Maybe. if they come to some type of middle ground. But they're going to want at least $2 trillion, maybe $3 trillion on the pot to get it moving. And thing is, the economy is tanking. People don't realize that the warehouses are empty. I've talked to people that's emailed me about supplies I buy. People that the supplies I'm getting now in bulk, by the way, toilet paper, paper towels, shampoo and stuff, it's because they're getting their shipments in here in America, made in America. The problem is not many people are buying the stuff right now. They're buying other things, thinking that the government will bail them out in a few weeks so they can spend foolishly. And that, it's none of my business to say, oh, what you spend your money on, but when it affects the entire country and you want another handout because you want a stimulus because you're on SSI and you think you're entitled, no, you're not. What it is, you just want to go and spend it foolish, and the Republicans know it. So they're trying to cut out everyone they can to keep the cost down so they can get it out. Yeah, I mean, literally, they're saying that the stock market's going good. I mean, let me ask you a question, okay? Honestly, if Mr. Musk is watching Elon, you are really cute, by the way. Me being a woman, I just gotta say, you're really cute for your age. That's smart, by the way. So, the reason I say that is because I look at the stock market, okay? I subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. And one of the things I enjoy is I read the stocks, just for fun. No, I'm not into the stocks. I don't play it. One of the things I think about is someone like Elon, who's cute, who's very successful, how it is that business is still going good when the economy's tanking. People are buying his products. I mean, literally. I mean, I look at the markets in every detail, and I wonder, how is this possible? They say the stock market is what's driving it. No, it isn't. It's commodities. If people aren't going to start buying it, if we go into a depression, I mean, literally, there is other things that the government can do, I will tell you. They can go into their Batman tool belt, set up digital bank accounts for everyone linked to a Visa or MasterCard, and they can put digital currency on it monthly, which means it basically is digital. So all you got to do is go to the post office, ask for money, or pay your rent. And you don't have to worry, but they're not going to pull that up. They can superintend Congress for it, too, to do it. But they haven't done it yet because they're hoping Congress will loosen the purse strings to do it. But if there is a massive buy-off or the stock market crashes, they will go to a new currency. I mean, literally they will. But right now, you got to look at it from 5 to 15 million people could be homeless in the next few months because Congress and the Senate can't work the difference out. I mean, yeah, there was one of the bills where part of the HEROES Act said they'd be paying rent for people for like 6 months or a year. That's a good idea, but the Republicans don't want it. What they really want is their big business corporate buddies to go back to work. I mean, look, when you look at the PPP loans, right? The small business loan, there's people out there getting 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million. I mean, look, there was a guy that runs 9 strip clubs in Texas. He got I think it was 5 or 10 million. I'm sorry to say, but, that might be a good idea, but it's a strip club, okay? The country's crumbling. Do you think anyone's going to be wanting to put money in girls' G-strips, G-strings? No. We're in a pandemic where we got a penny pinch. We have to let the strip clubs and the porn houses go under. Well, we don't need them. As a minister, I can tell you what we need is to help the American people, whether it be the low poor on disability or any of those entitlements or benefits, I should say. They're not entitlements, benefits. Or the low middle class. I mean, literally, we're all friggin' hurting. I mean, literally, supply and demand's getting low. Now they're restocking the stores, and people are saying, "Oh, the stores are restocked." That's because no one's buying, no one's hoarding. They figured after a couple months, virus would be over. They'd all be back to work. Instead, they're running out of supplies, and some of them are thinking about, well, if I get a second stimulus, I'll stock supplies. Others are like, oh, it's $1,200, it's $1,500, it's $2,000 the government's going to give us one-time check again. I'm going to go buy Christmas presents with it. Well, what happens if we get a major plunker, and the government closes down everything, and you guys are out of food or out of things? So, what'd you get?
Well, for one, I got the gal at the tuna place gave this to me. For a very low cost of $0.
Sailor and Pirate Owls. Oh, that is so cute. Is that
And
yours?
This, we can share it. We can use
I
it
like
for
this
stuff.
bag. Oh, that is cute. I like the fish, little trout.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that, so I got it for you. It's $0.
$0, people. You see, that's really good at farmer's market.
And
$0.
this gal always gives me a free can of tuna, so I always buy 2 additional cans just to give her business.
Let me
I
see
appreciate her.
let me put the tuna away. Let me show you guys the tuna because
That's the ground beef.
this is organically grass-fed beef. Okay, this stuff is really good.
Here's the tuna. I got 3 cans here.
That smoked tuna, by the way, makes good tuna sandwiches. And we're supporting local.
Yeah, it's better than store-bought tuna. I'll tell you that. Way better. Here's your sausage rolls, by the way.
Yes, yes. My sausage rolls. I'll eat these while I'm talking to you guys.
High quality food at a good price there. And your 3 cans of Skull cherries right here.
So this is hickory smoked tuna. Gourmet
back.
albacore tuna.
The dip set us back $40 in cash, but hey, you need a dip, and I got you 3 cans. I got myself 1. And that's pretty much all we got.
So one of the things we keep on hand in case of an emergency is we keep bread and we make tuna
I
sandwiches.
keep an eye out for a handbag, a purse, eventually. I just haven't bought one yet because I can't find the right one that fits what I want. I don't like the leather straps. Because the leather straps deteriorate, break. I have that now.
So anyways, back to my story. So the $1,200 won't make it last. People know they need more, and the government just wants to freaking do the cheapest course of action. This time around, they're trying to cut it down to 40,000, and they're looking at numbers to see if the job numbers will support a second stimulus and the economy. Otherwise, they're not budging. That's why they're not moving. They could have done this a long time ago, but the other thing they're doing here in the stimulus is they're milking the
Cash cow?
They're using the extra money that they have left over from the 3rd or 4th stimulus package. The last stimulus, they have like $250 to $500 billion, give or take, in that ballpark, to using as a crutch to delay sending out more stimuluses. They want to let it slowly trickle down. In my opinion, trickling it down is a bad idea because it's hurting people. Go ahead.
And then I should start cleaning. I gotta call the mail place. The Oregon one.
Yeah. So you didn't get me 4 like I requested?
For what? I thought it was for all general. I could always go to Cynthia's any day and get them.
Yeah, could do that.
That's where they are from.
These are really good. Anyway, so basically...
Right next door to the jerky house, too.
Oh, yeah, I know the jerky house. Basically, like I said, the taxpayers need more than $1,200. They can't make it last. I mean, I made mine last because I bought supplies. Milk, orange juice, water, dog food, etc., etc., etc.
Oh, sorry, I had to take my leggings off. It's just
and because of it, the American people, they're in my opinion, yes, the elderly. The Republicans don't want to give the elderly any because they think the elderly is going to hoard it. The people on SSI, they could use it because it could help them with food, but, thing is they don't want to give it because they think people on SSI is going to spend it foolishly. And freshly made this morning, too. These are addicting. And so, and then the people making $1,200 or $2,400 additional unemployment, they don't think they need it, but honestly, I'll tell you my opinion. When the $1,200 or the $2,400 runs out, they either have to extend it or people got to go back to work. And if they go back to work, they're going to be suffering too. Now, they could offer on the table $450 bonus to go back to work per week, but that's only in the bill, or the idea is for up to 6 weeks. So they're only getting $450 for 6 weeks. Now, no one's taking into account that the jobs market, some of these jobs went away permanently. Went away like the dodo bird. And by the way, dodo bird died in 1672 or something, 16 something. Look it up. It's an interesting story. Some say it's a legendary bird. Some say they went extinct. So, basically, the jobs numbers, as long as the unemployment's being filed, they might be able to extend it. But like I said, the Republicans don't want to give extension. They want to give like $450 a week for 6 weeks. Now, the other thing is they could always extend unemployment. Instead of giving $2,400 additional, they can give like $450 a week for until January. And then if they have to extend it again, they might just cut it down again. Some of these people think they need more than $2,400 a month additional because they have house payments or car payments, or they're entitled to more because they pay more and they have to have a comfortable life. I mean, look, a lot of the people are stating they want the $2,000 a month because they can live comfortably. And that's $2,000 per person, which means, like I said, $12 to $20 trillion out the door. Now, if they printed that much money to cover $2,000 a month, the U.S. dollar would deflate, and they don't want to deflate the U.S. dollar, so they're not going to do it. Same with $1,000 a month. It's either $1,000 a month for life per month, or $1,000, for life, and you give up your Social Security and stuff. So that ain't going to happen either. I mean, mostly it's about greed. All right, I'm going to say that flat out right. And the stimulus is greed. There's people out there that got $1,200. They didn't have to do much on SSI and all these other places, and they spend it foolishly. And because of it, now they're saying they need more. Well, that's like me and Joe and others say, we don't want to see another stimulus because it just breeds greed. Literally, Chloe said it herself the other day. Breeds greed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many selfish people in the world. I mean, they got their taste, and, the Republicans have the numbers of what spent where and how, and it's not good.
I found some pictures of the real Jesus versus fake Jesus.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, pretty much a Jewish Jesus, the real Jesus. And it's showing how, he was caring, loving, kind, accepting of all people, poor, homeless, Jewish, and all that, versus the fake Jesus, who was the white Jesus, who had all these laws, commandments, and stuff like that, and how he, and how he hates gays and all that other stuff, and how he's American.
Anyways, back to that. Sorry, she interrupted. So the stimulus check, they got 15 days to hammer it out. And there's going to be a lot of American people out there watching YouTube vids like this one. I don't make any money off this, okay? They're going to basically turn around and they're going to try to screw over everyone they can to cut this down as cheap as possible. And that means right now they're not even discussing bailing out states. States are on their own. The president said that themselves. Same with the testing equipment. But thing is the states are hurting. Hospitals are filled up. By the way, Chloe, we superseded yesterday's or the day before's expectations. We hit almost 72,000 new cases.
Oh man!
They say in the next couple weeks it'll peak up to over 100,000 a day. I don't doubt it, and that's because no one wants to wear masks. They want to go out and party. That's the other thing. Republicans see that people are running out, not spending money on, what's needed. Instead, they're going to bars, buying booze, going to strip clubs, going fishing, golfing, hiking. and the virus is spreading like wildfires. Your best course of action is to stay in.
You can use that bag if you want, a little bag.
Thank you. To stay in.
Yours too.
Well, thank you. To stay in. I mean, honestly, you need to stay in. Excuse me for a second.
Sometimes when you have good relations with some of the local businesses, the small businesses, sometimes you get stuff,
Yeah.
Discounts. Yeah, I bought 2 additional tunas, right? Gave me a discount. Instead of paying 14 for 2 cans, I paid 12.
Yeah. So basically, this is things that I want to teach you in this video too, besides pandemic. You got to make connections because, meat's getting expensive. I go through the local farmers once a week to get my meat when I'm out of meat, of course. Right now I'm not out of meat. By the way, was that wine guy there lately? Ah.
Wasn't there this time.
So, talking about it, there's a guy that sells wine over at the farmer's market. Great guy, by the way. So, I was robbed, by the way. Was he sick like the rumors? He was?
I was out of meat last time. He said he'll get goat in next month.
Good. I want some goat. You told him we wanted a rack of goat?
Yeah, I said rack of goat.
He said he'll be having it next month? Yeah. You should, next time you go down there and get a couple pounds of hamburger, ask him specifically about an email address so I can email him what I want so we can have it ready when we come down there.
$5 you get like 4 little dumplings. They had a place that were making dumplings, right?
Yeah.
Tried some of the pork dumplings. They were pretty good. Yeah. Usually, what I did is I bought a $2 soda, right? This is one of those local natural sodas, pineapple flavored. And say I went behind the sand pebble to eat the dumplings and enjoy my soda. Everywhere else is crowded. Benches are taken, so there's that little parking lot right next to the laundromat behind Sand Pebble.
Right.
I'd go there because it's nice and peaceful back there. Took a look in the pharmacy at the handbags. I'll have leather straps. I haven't looked in Sand Pebble to see what handbags they have.
And?
Leather. When it comes to handbags, because I use them a lot, I don't use leather because it wrinkles so easily. When I buy something that I trust will last. Like, you know that houndstooth one I had? I had that for 5 years. The longest I didn't have a handbag was for 5 years. Of course, that didn't come undone, but I kept tying it, and just kept,
So, anyways, everyone, so you gotta make connections when it comes to the pandemic due to the fact that, we're in a pandemic. And always prepare. Plain and simple, always prepare, because a lot of people say, oh, well, our cost of pricing has gone down the toilet, and we need help, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, maybe, but the problem is Republicans don't think it that way. They think you all don't need the money because of it. They don't take into account on the people with disability that they might be struggling due to the fact that, cost of housing, if you're in subsidized housing, your rent doesn't go up or down. They're not worried about that. Your electricity could fluctuate, etc., etc. So, So because of it, the people, in my opinion, on disability insurance, retirement, survivors, in my opinion, they're all entitled to it because they might be struggling. But a lot of the government officials think that the money shouldn't be given because we're not managing properly. Cost of living is really high. And it's not just about the cost of living. It's also about supply and demand. I mean, literally, the factories are working 24/7 to keep toilet paper in stock. They didn't know TP was going to be going out of stock, you know. There. So as you can see, give me one moment, people. Cost is expensive. So the Republican Party everyone, is looking for the numbers before they cough up a stimulus. But they're also waiting to see what the Americans do when it comes to contacting, saying, well, you shouldn't just broaden the horizons and lower it all the way to 40,000 or less. We should be entitled to. So, and they're going to be looking at all the numbers, but they wanted to do a broad targeting audience of 40,000 or less, and there's a lot of people that watch channels like me and others, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to get more money. The wording I'm going to say is maybe. They said the hardworking Americans under 40 grand should be taken care of. They didn't say anything about anyone on SSI, survivors, retirement, disability insurance, railroad, or veterans. Now, a lot of these people, again, the Republicans in general need to look at the numbers. Now, the numbers are they don't want to give a check out because all the extra $1,200 was used as play money because when they started going out, people said, oh, yeah, the government's going to give another stimulus. We're going to get another $1,200 or $2,000 or whatever. Things started throwing around. And so far, it's been all maybe. I've said this many times over. If you listen to my channel, I'm not sugarcoating it and having clickbait for you guys to go and watch my video just to see if you're getting stimulus. The answer is maybe. I mean, they got 15 days to hammer it out. I don't think Congress and the Senate's going to... I think they're going to use the dickering of the mode. And then everyone's going to go back to recess for a month from August 8th to September 7th. And we're still not going to see another stimulus because the Democrats, they want what they want. The Republicans want what they want and liability. They want a liability of the businesses that make people go back to work. And then if they get sick and die, well, they're exempt because, we got to keep the economy open. If you're looking at the Republicans' views, they want to keep their big buddies, their donors and their big buddies' payments to go in. They're not thinking about the little people. They're thinking about corporations. Fortunately, corporations shouldn't be forcing people to go back to work if we're in a massive pandemic.
Corporations are people too,
They're not. They're just entities. And they're greedy entities. Now, there is greedy people out there in SSI and survivors, retirement, railroad, disability insurance, veterans who just want the money so they can go spend it foolishly. They think it's a entitlement because the government owes them. Government doesn't owe you jack shit. Jack Diddley poopers, I should say, because frankly, the government doesn't want to help. They think someone who's getting a check can manage a check, then they can manage their check month to month buying groceries. Our state's extended food stamps to help the elderly because food's getting out of hand. Food's hard to find. I wish I had a couple more. See, I'm kind of greedy when it comes to that. Those sausage things are great.
Next time I'll buy you 4.
Next week. So anyways, next Saturday I'll be getting some. Family's going to be around, so I'll get a little cash out and I'll go and buy some sausage things.
Yeah. You should have them try it too.
That'd be great. So, but
maybe I'll buy some for my mom in September when she comes home.
That would be great. So basically, the point I'm trying to make is look at the greed. The greed factor is through the frickin' roof. I'm turning my phone off, by the way, because I don't need it right now.
Yeah. Things I gotta do. I'll have a dip soon. I'll take him out again.
So basically, what is that?
Cookies. You want some?
What type of cookies?
Chocolate chip.
Oh yeah, I'll take whatever you offer me. I'll take chocolate chip. I'll take one. There's 2. I'll take 2. There's 3. There's 3. I'll take one.
Chocolate chip peanut butter. That's what I need. Chocolate chip peanut butter.
Oh well, you know what? I ain't gonna complain. It's cookie. Part of my lunch, I guess. I gotta make up dinner tonight, leftover lamb. That's what I eat a lot of lately. Is my staple is lamb because that's what I can get. Beef's hard to get a hold of. The meat man didn't have much today, anyways. It seems, did he? Limiting 2 per person.
No, but I would still eat peanuts and not have a problem. Certain nuts, like most of those nuts that come into hard shells from those trees, like walnuts, maple nuts, pecans, hickory nuts.
Is this from Cynthia's or the bakery?
Cynthia's.
Ah, good. So anyway, like I said, the Republicans are going to do everything they can to try to screw out a check. And everyone says, and watching these people, and people post comments like, are we going to get one? The answer is maybe. They didn't put it concrete yet. So I'm saying maybe. Because frankly, to me, it's all maybe. I mean, everyone is speculating we're going to get one, but we might not. Republicans might cut it out, but Democrats will do what they can. Republicans won't. Republicans already think we're getting benefits every month, so why should we even ask for it? We're doing good.
I don't even care if I get our stimulus or not. I just don't care. Don't need it.
Joe said the same thing. He doesn't care. He doesn't really want a second stimulus.
I don't have a need for it. I got plenty of money left, and I'm good on food and supplies. I'm not worried.
There's people out there that need the stimulus, but the problem is will they get a stimulus? I mean, look. The elderly, they usually hoard their money unless they have extended bills. Then you have SSI people that think it's an extra $1,200 because they're on SSI. They could use it to buy junk. Then there's others, That's why the warehouses, the game systems, the laptops, the desktops, all those things sold out. And toilet paper and everything else. Now they're selling toilet paper back up. You can get it easier. The problem is, again, the toilet paper, paper towels is, the reason they're coming back in and they're easier to get is there's people with no money to buy it. So, eventually you might see trees, jokingly of course, run out of leaves because people are using that to wipe their butt. Because they have nothing else, or they'll go with rags. I mean, literally, they'll go and do what they have to survive. It's survival mode, but, now, if there is another stimulus, the Democrats and the Republicans are saying that's the last one. It isn't the last one, I guarantee it. If they do give us a stimulus, it's not going to be the last, because this thing's going to double spike in fall, winter, and they'll shut down the states again.
Organic tobacco.
Yeah.
Would that be something to buy if we found organic tobacco sold somewhere?
American Spirits organic tobacco.
They didn't even make organic dip.
They could.
Oh, that's why I like American Spirits, because, their cigarettes, doesn't make you want to throw up.
Yeah, but those cigarettes are expensive too.
I know, but they don't have all those chemicals in them. And American Spirits are less likely to cause cancer than other brands.
So anyways, everyone, like I said, it's not about cigarettes. But yeah, the Republicans are going to use numbers. The Democrats are going to duke it out with the Republicans. And if they do get something, they're going to have to hit a sweet spot, because both parties aren't budging. Pelosi laughed yesterday and said, we need $1 trillion for unemployment, $1 trillion for the states, $1 trillion plus for the hazard pay, and the rest for stimulus. I mean, literally, they're not going to get what they want. It's a giant wish list. As anyone saw Mitch McConnell and Stephen Mnuchin talk about the $40,000 income bracket and the hospitality fields to the hardworking Americans, yet did anyone catch that they were going to give anyone else on government benefits a check? No. Did anyone realize that they haven't even talked about, anything else? No. Did they even see, because 9 days till they go back to work, has anyone heard or talked to the people or seen on videos where they turned around and they said, quote unquote, anything, and this is from my opinion, anything about helping bail the states out or help out other people? No. They said they wanted to extend PPP, which they did before they left, and they did a few other things. That's it. I'm sorry to say, but, and they also said they want to take their time to make it right. People are hurting left and right. How much more time do they need? They're using we have extra money still set aside from the last stimulus that needs to trickle down before we get another stimulus. They're using that as a crutch. So to me, well, how do I see it? I see it as a bunch of BS. Literally, they're using every tactic they can to not give a stimulus check to anyone. Now they're using the $40,000 gap. It was $75,000. They narrowed it, thinking that there's too many people on $75,000 that can get it. So we're going to narrow it to $40,000. Literally. And a lot of people think that they are entitled to a second check, and, people need to ask themselves, if you've spent your money wisely on the checks, as the Republicans think, 30% did. Most of the people on benefits spend it foolishly. I spent mine on food and supplies to get through this pandemic. All I got to do is stock up on a few more pounds of hamburger, and I can have Hamburger Helper for 30 days. See, I've planned carefully. Of course, Amazon is one of the wealthiest companies in the world. They're making money hand over fist in this country, getting food stamp benefits and getting stimulus checks that people are spending for whatever. I used Amazon for food. That was it. Food and food alone. Chloe did the same. So we did ours properly, but there's other people out there that hasn't, and now they got their tongue and their lips wet, and they're ready for their next payment so they can go spend foolishly because they think it's what they need. But if the government shuts down, for example, right? Let's talk about that for a second. If the government shuts down in the second wave and say fall, winter, close down completely, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. The government will shut down. They might even have shut down stores this time around. People are going to be in a panic. They're not going to be able to get food. They're not going to be able to get groceries. They're not going to get toilet paper. Government said, prepare. What are me and Chloe doing? We're preparing. Dog food. 3 33-pound bags of dog food that came in yesterday. Food for Bun Bun, my little bunny. Couple bags of that to make sure he's got pellets. Hay, got plenty of that. 50-pound box. Powdered milk, about 55-pound bag. You see, we're sitting here and we are playing it safe. The longer we stay in our house, I have a treadmill so I can exercise, the longer we will survive than if we, as in people, don't get the virus. You see, a lot of people are saying, well, we, the hardworking Americans, the ones that have a job we're on furloughed or laid off, we're the ones entitled to go to bars, nightclubs, football stadiums, baseball stadiums, hockey stadiums, soccer stadiums, run whatever we want without masks. It's the elderly that need to be indoors because the elderly are the vulnerable. Well, last time I checked, everyone under the age of 40, maybe 35, 30, are getting sick. That tells you right there the numbers have changed and the virus has mutated. So think of it that way. Before you sit there and say, oh, well, we need $2,000 a month. That's because your greed is saying you need $2,000 a month. You don't need jack shit. If you live this long, you can live a little longer without $2,000. There's other people say, oh, I bring in $783 a month on SSI. I need $2,000 a month. They're not going to give you $2,000 a month. If they give you $2,000 a month, they'll take away your $783 till the pandemic's over. But do you really think they're going to give $2,000 a month to everyone? No, it's not even on the table. The Democrats have the idea, but do you see the Democrats passing it? Nope. Even Pelosi's smart enough to know she ain't going to pass it. That leaves no one. One Republican's on board, and I believe the Senate for $2,000 a month. Everyone else, not going to happen. Not going to happen. And that is why the American people see everything going down the toilet. I see it every day. The American people is suffering. There's people out there, and they are all demanding another check, disabled. Oh, some are saying the cost of food's high. Well, maybe that's because you didn't pre-plan carefully like me and Chloe did with our stimulus checks. We're fine. Well, we said it ourselves. We're basically sitting here waiting patiently for it to end. It won't end anytime soon. People are going to basically demand another stimulus as soon as the second one's given. If everyone on SSI and retirement and survivors and disability insurance, railroad, VA, they're going to ask for another one. Oh, we need another one because we can't support ourselves. Because we're bringing in very little, really. I mean, look, if they decide to not give in to the unemployment, it goes the way of the dodo bird, people are going to get up and go to work, which means they know they have to go to work. That means the economy will start to pick up a little better because of business, a tactic that they're trying to do. It's not something that they're just sitting on their ass playing the hokey pokey for. They're actually freaking waiting to do it properly so these people can actually literally go back to work. That's what they really want. That's all they want. They don't want anything else. They want everyone to go back to work. If they go back to work, the economy picks up, but then they can just say, well, it's the new norm for this virus. And they'll say, well, vote for our man because, he's great. Whoever it is, whether it be Biden or Obama, or Trump. Fortunately, the American people are going to be upset if there is no stimulus check, or the American people are going to freaking vote out the Republicans if the Republicans do a 40,000 limit or less, because everyone else is going to be pissed that they didn't get a stimulus. So they're going to basically hate the people that's under 40,000, whether it be disability people or, benefit people or the hardworking Americans. Right now, the word is hardworking Americans. They aren't talking about anything else. So think of it that way. The stimulus checks are in the process, but until they actually get something signed by the president, and then everyone says, oh, we're going to get a check by August 1st. Really, I had a guy tell me that. I told him to leave on my live channel. Told him to leave and don't come back. Why? Because second stimulus checks aren't right now in the works for us. I read all the news channels. I read all the news feeds. I don't see anything on frickin' paper. I don't see anything. They're talking 40,000. The thing is the HEROES Act was passed, but the Senate said it's dead on arrival.
Did you want me to still get milk?
Did you want eggs today or tomorrow?
I can have them today. We should eat the duck eggs up pretty good, bad.
Yeah.
I could run out again.
You can or you don't have to. I mean, I can fry up your eggs. I can always have my eggs tomorrow.
I'll go today. I'll go soon. I just couldn't carry the milk with carrying all the other stuff.
You don't need to really get milk. I mean,
beef.
Anyways, so the stimulus checks are a maybe, okay? Until they actually, the Republicans and get back to work and they discuss it fully, we're only in you're clicking baiting someone to get more stimulus update news, and there's nothing to truly give because these people are using you to make a living because they're stuck at home. I mean, I'm not making a living. I'm basically telling you straight up, non-sugarcoating, maybe. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. Because frankly, the American people are suffering, and the American people need this money, and they're not getting it. What they're getting is tired of the stipulations. They're tired. They're tired of waking up in the morning and not having anything, and they're tired of seeing, both parties duke it out for the House and Senate. They're tired of watching them talk about a stimulus but not actually doing anything, and then they're talking about numbers before doing it, or they're slowing everything down, saying, well, the money hasn't trickled all the way out yet, so why should we do another one? I mean, look, basically, the Republicans and Democrats are playing with all your lives, basically, whether you're rich, you're middle class, or you're poor. They're playing with lives. I mean, you can lose your house, you can lose your car, you can lose everything, live in a tent, and they wouldn't give two danks. If you freaking lost your apartment, lived in a tent, they could care less. They're basically saying, people, and these people that I've talked to that run agencies, it's mismanagement of funds. That's what it is. It's mismanagement of funds. When people go into the agency and says, oh, I can't pay my rent, or go to a church, and they're like, oh, and then later they see them at the grocery store after they get help, and they're buying a boatload of booze because they just swindled a church or swindle a group, an agency out of money to pay their rents because they don't want to spend any of their money for rent during a pandemic because they want to buy booze because that's all they can do if they're an adult, or they're buying board games and everything else to keep their kids busy at home or whatever. I mean, literally, they do what they can so they can screw over the people. The Republicans see it, and the Republicans are like, no, get them back to work. Then we don't have to. I mean, I have family members that are on unemployment, and they're making it last. They're not going to agencies and saying, I need my rent paid or my home loan paid or whatever. They're dealing with it in their own way. Whereas others, they go at the low income, they go in there like, I can't buy oh, I can't pay my rent, I gotta buy food, you know, and then, you know, sometimes they look into it and they're like, oh, well, what are you eating? Well, I have to buy 30 packages of hot dogs and I buy buns as needed and I eat hot dogs every night. Oh, yeah, that's healthy too, you know. I mean, literally, if you look at the big picture, everyone has got something, you know, and because of it, the American people are suffering to no end, and the American people deserve freedom, but they also deserve happiness, and they also deserve, um, um, you know, a second stimulus. But at the same time, Republicans don't want to give it due to the fact that they think they're spending foolishly. I mean, people can say, oh, Chloe spent foolishly on those little sausage things. Yeah, but farmers market at tuna, so tuna can make sandwiches, food.
And plus, that gal always gives me a free can. So, I gotta do this with her. She's a nice person, nice guy.
And, you know, the family's struggling, so you support the tuna industry. It works. And that is why I keep telling people to make connections.
And the food's healthier, too. It's healthier than buying store-bought food that has all those preservatives in it.
Like I said, yeah, exactly. Like I said, you don't want to buy a store-bought preservative. We have store-bought stuff here that we got to eat up, but thing is we're basically, you know, all our meats are organic, grass-fed, whether it be lamb, goat, beef, or chicken. Well, right now, chicken and beef's hard to get a hold of, as Chloe said. And they only limited us 2 packages of hamburger. Now, if we go somewhere else, where if, say, I sent Chloe down to the fish market, right? Which I got to go down there in a few days anyways to get a bag of shrimp when the time comes, probably Wednesday. I could send her down, not that I need it right now, to get me some Kobe beef. It's on sale, by the way. They got a real good deal right now on it. The lady said she'd give me a bigger deal if I bought more than 4 pounds of it, which is premium Wagyu, aka Wagyu and Kobe. It's basically Kobe and Longhorn fused together. Apparently, Wagyu is part of a Japanese hamburger thing, anyways. But the point is I can get a deal on this hamburger and make hamburger helper when I want, and I think it's a great idea. I mean, literally, I can go through a connection that I have, and I can buy 30 pounds of hamburger for under $200, and it's all Wagyu, ground Wagyu. I mean, that's all I need when the time comes if I want to get it, but I'd rather have at least 12 pounds at a time like I have, so I can actually eat up. You know, my freezer's in here is full of Wagyu anyways, so, you know, just to make sure, you know, and you help the economy. I mean, that's the thing. You must make connections. Chloe made connection with tuna. We made connection with the wine shops. We've made connections with coffee shops. We've made connections with, you know, restaurants. We've made connections with the farmers. I mean, there's the Farmers Hub. They actually the farm hub that we go through that picks up on Tuesday. The farmers market's on Saturday, and the people that can't get to the farmers market on Saturday today, Chloe went. You can actually go online.
Got some news for you. Phone went missing.
No, it didn't.
I'm gonna. In case you need to text me if I go out again.
Right. Okay. So basically, you know, the if people don't get ahead of go ahead with Tuesday, right, or today, food farmers market, they can go to the food hub, and the food hub is open from Thursday morning at midnight to Sunday night at 11:59 or sorry 11 o'clock. They close it, and that's where you can buy foods, you know, and buy stuff. And so, let me ask, what do I got here? I got duck eggs, chicken eggs. I got the last dozen of chicken eggs. Ramen and, oh yeah, alright, so I got my things for my, ramen noodles, just regular ramen. There's dog biscuits too. We got a bag of that coming. Fresh homemade dog biscuits. For Moppy, of course. Moppy deserves it. And then, yeah. And then other things are sold out. I always check to see what's sold out in the meats, you know. So this is where I get my meats too if I want. As they run out of stuff, they'll put sold on the bottom, and farmers can restock. Like, I was looking at some breakfast sausages, a couple pounds of that with my eggs. But otherwise, they got goat chorizo sausage and other things. I've been looking for, racket goat. But yeah. And it works. So anyways, that's something I wanted to share because, I do truly love, the market. So, anywho, I better get this video uploaded and continue while Chloe's gone, because when Chloe gets back, I'm putting a movie in and I'm vegging out the rest of the day. So, the next video is going to be talking about the pandemic, plague, and the economy, and what you can do to survive it. So please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestion, hit the like, subscribe button. It's also funny for your family, including dogs and cats and bunnies. Service dogs, hit the bell notification for new content every day. Thanks for watching, and God bless you in everything you do.